My name is John Argovia. I was in the Navy, Amphibs Landing Party, 1944. My job was to establish beachheads with my other people, and we established a beachhead on France, June 6, 1944.
Robert David Leahy was in the Navy. I joined in January of '44. Went through 3 invasions. That's all. I watched the flag go up at in Iwo Jima on Mount Suribachi. I was a signalman, so I had the long glass and could see things.
My name is Joe Ostrowski. I was in the Navy from 1945 to 1949. We embarked 5,000 troops just about when the war ended and landed them in Nagoya, Japan. And from that point on, we went back and forth across the Pacific, bringing the troops back to the U.S. and taking replacements and families and so on overseas. One of the delights that I had was on our very first trip in early 1946, we brought a load of Marines back to San Diego, and to stand on the ship and watch the families and friends of the guys coming back was wonderful to see.
They serve this country a people strong and blessed. never ones to compromise. They strive to be the best. This nation is the land they love to honor and obey. Qualities that make someone a hero for today. And the silent cheering of the crowd somehow tells them that we're proud. And as
Can we move the sign?
may we find a way to say thanks to a hero for today. When you stand for freedom, you sometimes stand alone. Defending our America on shores so far from home. Courageous moments set in time and a flag that points the way on this lifelong journey of a hero for today. And the silent cheering of the crowd somehow tells them that we're proud. And as we bend our knees to pray, may we find a way to say thanks to a hero. Thanks to a hero. And the silent cheering of the crowd somehow tells them that we're proud. And as we bend our knees to pray, may we find a way to say to a hero for today. And as we bend our knees to pray, may we find a way to say thanks to a hero, a freedom-loving hero. Thanks to a hero for
All right, that's for you guys.
My name is Richard Sella. I was in the U.S. Navy. I enlisted when I turned 17 in what they called the kiddie cruise. If you enlisted and you spent retirement, you would get credit for 4 years. If you didn't even serve the 4 years, because they let you out at the day before you were 21. So I went to boot camp in Williamsburg, Virginia, and went home, and then from there I was shipped to California and was put on the USS AV-17 Cumberland Sound, which was a seaplane tender. And we used to take care of a squadron of LBYs, I guess they call them. And then the war ended, which was nice, and they took the ship back and we converted it into what they called a laboratory observation ship. And we took it, got it all cleaned, we got rid of the deck and seaplane deck and put the laboratories on it. Then we found out we were going to go out to the Marshall Islands of Bikini and set the first 2 atomic bombs off. And they set them off from our ship. And we got a lot of scientists on there, and a man by the name of Dr. Holloway. And we went out to Bikini. And on the July 1st, I think it was, or in 1946, the war is over. They dropped a bomb over top of the Nevada, and we had all these ships in the harbor, and the bomb was off target a little bit, but it destroyed a lot of the ships. And then 10 days later, we set off a bomb underneath the LSM-60, which was completely disappeared. It blew the Nevada completely out of the water and sunk it, and sunk an awful lot of other ships. And we were only 9 miles away when both bombs went off. And then we went back into the harbor, and the ships were still burning, some of them. We found goats and sheep swimming in the water that had been blown off the decks. And they were alive, but they died soon after. And that was pretty near what we had there. And then, like I said, we were the target ship. We were the one that set the bombs off. And then we went back to the States, and they gave us all kind of ideas that possibly we could be sterile and all that kind of stuff. And needless to say, it wasn't my case, because after I got married, we had 3 children in 3 years.
Rafael Montelongo. Yes, I was at the U.S. Navy for 26 years, and I served with 2 aircraft carriers, the Saratoga and the Enterprise, and later I worked in Washington, D.C. in the Naval Photo Center because I'm a photographer. And I took President Eisenhower portraits.
I'm Stanley I. Hand. I'm a retired Air Force colonel. I was in World War II. I was a squadron commander of B-17s. Was in England for 16 months. Got over there in early 43 and got out of there in 44, late 44 after the D-Day. Got 27 combat missions. The one that I'll never forget was when we left England and bombed a oil refinery plant in Germany, and it just kept going east and ended up in Russia. The code word for the mission was apropos because the code word was frantic. And what happened was the Germans followed us in, and then that night sent over several hundred airplanes and bombed the heck. We had 75 B-17s on our field. The place we went was called Poltava, which they told us used to be the west point of the air for the Russians, like Randolph Field was the west point of the air for the Americans. And we had 75 B-17s on the field. And after several months, we finally took about 3 or 4 of them off the field. They were absolutely bombed out. So the way we got home, they sent some Air Transport Command airplanes, C-47s, over to Russia and picked us up, brought us back to England.
My name is Jerry Stein, Gerhard Stein, really. And I joined the Air Force before there was any Air Force. It was the Army. And I stayed in the service for 25 years, and I rose to the rank of Lieutenant Colonel. And I must say, the whole time I was there, I enjoyed it. And I retired, oh my gosh, a long time ago. And I've enjoyed life ever since.
I want to introduce to you James Seeley, 98 years old, and he served in the Army Air Forces.
Right.
He's a player. Well, thank you. There's a ham in every group. Don't tell my wife I did, man. It's all on videotape.
Donald J. Schneider, Staff Sergeant, U.S. Army. Went in Fort Benjamin Harrison in Evansville, Indiana. Did the basic technical and tactical training at Vancouver Barracks, Washington. Then to Camp Sutton, North Carolina. Embarked on the Queen Mary to Edinburgh, Scotland, from there to Kettering, England, then to Southern England, where Dorchester, Dorset County, trained with the 18th Regiment, the 1st Infantry Division, and the 2nd Ranger Battalion, and primarily in the field of logistics, and went into from the small port of Portland near Weymouth and on an LST, and entered Omaha Beach on June the 11th, and was in combat there for a period of time. A team, they created a team to eventually end up into Cherbourg. So I went with the 4th Infantry Division to Cherbourg. We took Cherbourg, and a friend of mine who I trained with, and also from Evansville, Indiana, came up with the 2nd Ranger Battalion on the cliffs behind Cherbourg. We met in the center of Cherbourg. Was quite an occasion. The casualties for the 2nd Rangers was heavy. We were still digging Germans out of Cherbourg when it was considered secure. We established a coffee bakery plant and logistical set up in the arsenal area of Cherbourg, and it became the very crucial insofar as supplies to the front lines. Our ships could offload quickly. The Red Ball Express would go right on into sometimes through enemy lines to our lines and deposit supplies as needed.
My name Vets C. Butler. I was in the Army Air Force, and we was going to Java. Java fell before we got there, so they sent us out to Karachi, India. So that's where we set up headquarters in Karachi, India. So we had to fight the Japs from Burma. I was in the CBI, China, Burma, and India. And we was not too far from flying time from Burma, down to Karachi, India. So we put on guards and put out, we have company, and we had the marshal, the boss, I mean the general. He had us during the night hours of darkness, had to go around the quarters to go to the quarters, but in the daytime they were supposed to go straight through. See, and he said during the hours of the night they can't go through the shortcut. They have to come around this way. So they was going through the shortcut. And I was, hold it, bang! Shot right. See, the general was in the back seat under here, so I shot a hole up there, on here. Blew a hole in the gas tank about that big, and and they got out. So here they come. I said, "Oh, here comes the general." I said, "Well, I'll be going to China now." That's where they said when they messed up, they sent him to China. But he came and congratulated me. Said, "You did an excellent job," because he's the one that put the orders out. See, and so he told me, said, "Give me some transportation to my quarters." I called the motor pool, and the motor pool answered. I said, The general, the managers are here and want to have transportation to his quarters. He said, "What's wrong?" I said, "Never mind what's wrong. Just bring him to get him to his quarters." So that was about it right there, So